Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, it is Sunday, and it is bright outside. We'll see if I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to do. All right, well, we'll use my desk lamps. All right, these Arthur Adams sketchbooks were so fun. I have more, but we're going to try to go through 2 of these today. Part 2, as San Diego Comic-Con is coming closer and closer, I've got the fever for more Art Adams, because it was always one of my must-stop purchases. You have to get these when you go to the show. You're crazy if you don't. Look, I got ink splatter on this one. Shame on me, but I was never going to sell these anyway, so we'll just take a quick look at these. So yeah, it's Sunday. You know what that means? Super fun Sunday. What's it going to be? It's going to be super fun. That's my only, like, tag, you know? That's the big thing on YouTube. You watch the videos and they tell you, like, you want to sign off and all this stuff. I'm like, you know what? Do what I feel. I'm going to follow your rules for YouTube. It's my channel. We're still in the garage. That's how I look at it. This is the garage band era. You guys are seeing the small shows. Then we're going to get picked up by a major network and it'll be way more legit with theme music. All right, so anyway, yeah, so let's get to this. Arthur Adams, one of my favorite artists. Art is doing probably some of the best work of his career still, which is absolutely incredible. You know, the guy's been drawing professionally for, oh my gosh, probably close to 40 years, as crazy as that sounds. I'm going to say that he was working in the 80s, and that's pushing him up there in terms of time on the playing field. And it's, you know, with the level of detail and intricacies that he places in his work, it's absolutely astounding that he's able to continue doing pieces at the level he does. It really just shows how much of a badass the guy is, because the stuff isn't for the meek. All right, let me, sorry, I'm just trying to, the binding on this is a little tight. Okay, so this is a really great thing. And Art hand letters all this stuff, so granted, he probably lightboxes it off of the original comic in terms of, like, getting it laid down, but it's still really nice. I would say that that's probably, like, his lettering, but the logos and stuff like that, I mean, it would just make sense to do it that other way. But look at that Batman. It's so awesome. There's actually a few Batmans in the front end of this book, and they're really cool. Look at, he is so chunky. That is great. Oh man, we're gonna have fun today, I promise you. This is gonna be a really good one. And first things first, I do want to give a shout out to all my Patreon supporters, because I've been neglecting that on the videos, because I don't come to YouTube to beg for, like, money, and especially on these videos I don't like to do it. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to the people that support me on Patreon, and it really doesn't affect Super Fun Sundays, but all the other, like, tutorial videos and stuff that I do, it does. So thank you guys very much. I'll be doing some exclusive videos right after Comic-Con. This is beautiful. Okay, so let's get back to art. Enough of that nonsense. Yeah, I mean, this is so time consuming. Like, the tentacles and just filling in the blacks in between all that stuff would take a long time. This is a very intricate piece. You know, and Art just does it again and again. Signed by him too on this one. A couple I have aren't signed. I don't really know how that happened, but it's not a big deal. I could always take them to the show and have him sign the ones that weren't signed. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, and I was saying in the other video, like, there's a couple of artists that I get nervous when I meet. Arthur Adams is one of them. I don't know why, and Mignola too. It's funny that they're kind of peers and friends. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about them that makes me nervous. They're both really good. But yeah, like, whenever I go up to them, I just, like, want to get the books and, like, run away, like, so I don't do anything stupid, like knock over their stuff, or, like, go like Chris Farley, where it's like, remember that time you drew Monkey Man? That was cool. But that's how I feel. I pretty much go to that, like, when I meet them. But other than that, I'm pretty smooth with, like, most other people. Man, really cool. So yeah, I'll put a link to the other video that I did of 2 of the other sketchbooks, so you won't miss out on anything. This is great too. God, look at the texture on her outfit. It's really nice. It's kind of unusual too. He actually did like almost like a stippling dot on it, but it looks really, really good, and it's actually quite unique. You know, people will go, you know, oh, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like there's kind of generics that people use, but it's always fun to see people actually doing something that really is a different for comic book work, because most of it, in one way, shape, or another, they all tend to sort of emulate lanes. You know, there's different lanes, but once something gets hot, I mean, you just see everyone jumping on the bandwagon. Which is weird to me. I always felt that way about comic book art. I swear, it was one of the first things. So I didn't start collecting comics until I was in my early 20s. And which is surprising. Like, if people don't know that about my backstories, I was a musician my whole life. And around the age of like 22 or 23, I got introduced to comics. A year later, I was working professionally, but I didn't draw at all. That's how fast I broke in. It was probably like 16 months. Yeah, the first thing that I noticed when I started collecting comics is I was like, why don't these guys copy each other? It's art. You can do whatever you want. Like it felt to me like the level of possibility, especially something like comics provides you, is like, man, why wouldn't you let your imagination run wild? But, you know, for whatever reason, I guess like any sort of creative field, there's people that have the ability to actually do it. They don't have the ability to like create anything original, or very little they can add to the equation. It's a weird thing. You know, but Arthur to me is just does beautiful, beautiful work. It's distinctly his. I don't even really think he would need to sign any of these pieces, and you'd be able to tell right away it's Arthur Adams' piece. You know, I think it's an important thing maybe to take away from it is, you know, I talked about this in the other video, is be inspired by art, but be inspired to come up with your own thing, you know? That's what people really want to see. That's what will ultimately put you, you know, above the rest, or at least to the side of them. You know, you want to have high quality work too. But yeah, I mean, it's really really nice. This book was really good. I kind of glanced to see what order I was going to do these, and this one did not disappoint. Love that white line going down her fishnets. Looks really cool. Man, those rabbits are gnarly. Holy cow. Man, that one in particular. It's like a saber-toothed bunny. But yeah, art is really prolific, considering the level of detail. Again, like this upper area right here would take quite a long time. Again, I've done my own sort of black drawing pieces that have a lot of rendering like this. I would guess that this upper area, just from, say, like Doctor Strange's eyes up to the top of the piece, that could be seven hours worth of inking, you know, just to do that. And then you look at how much more of the piece is left. This is a beautiful piece. Wow. I don't even remember ever seeing this before. Good God. Whew. Art is so awesome. God damn. Man, he's nuts. He really is. He's so good. It was interesting. So when I first started collecting comics, four guys that I really gravitated to real quickly after I kind of started going to the store on kind of more regular basis was, well, here we go, Frank Miller. So Frank Miller, Mignola, Arthur Adams, and Jeff Darrow. Those four in particular were what I considered comic book artists that really kind of were doing... they each had a pretty unique approach to it. Art being kind of the more, I don't know if you want to call it poppy, but you know what I mean? Like, his stuff was a little more accessible. Mignola had Hellboy, and Hellboy was really interesting, and Miller had Sin City, and that was very unique. And then Jeff Darrow was just like, you know, the juggernaut, the tech guy that was, God, man alive, Arthur Adams. Whew. But yeah, they were all just really, really fun artists to get into, and when I got to Wildstorm, then I got turned on to, well, I think I discovered Bernie Wrightson before I broke into Wildstorm. Bill Sienkiewicz I knew of, Alex Ross and stuff like that, but I know for a fact that I hadn't ever seen Michael Golden's work before I got to Wildstorm, and so a couple of the artists there were like, oh, you got to check out Michael Golden. So First thing I saw of Golden was the Nam issues. Someone had the back issues, and it was okay. The more I dug into his stuff, I really like Nam #1. I think Nam #1 is like a perfect comic book. But they were showing me some of the later issues where it was a little more simple, and I kind of didn't get it initially. But yeah, Golden is really, really good too. Man, whew, this is so much work. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, sorry, I'm trying to get the camera to focus, but oh my god. And that's the other thing with art too, is he'll do these pieces where he puts so many characters in it. When you hire him for a job and you go like, hey, would you do like a Justice League piece or whatever it is, it's like, you're like, all right, I'll talk to you in a month. Oh, it's Plastic Man. Wow, that's crazy. I honestly don't even understand what this piece means. Someone that's really into like the characters, is she wearing a costume, or does Plastic Man actually, can he house someone? Or I don't even know, what is that? I don't know what the story is behind this piece. It's pretty interesting. It looks like a girl with, maybe she was like disguised as him. I don't know. That's a crazy Wonder Woman too. I don't know what I'll have to check out that comic. That actually looks kind of cool, different. This is nice. This is from '92, so this is actually about 13 years earlier than a lot of the stuff that we're looking at. 10 to 13 years. I think the sketchbook was 2006. Okay, so these are, oh man, this is nice too. So this has a little bit of a Michael Golden feel. The cartoony kind of guns and stuff like that, a little bit of the lighting. Man, Arthur is great. He's so good. And you know what's been really cool about doing the Open That Books and some of the stuff that I've been doing on the channel, it's a little weird when you're showing someone else's work, and it can be perceived as like, oh, you know, he's using someone else's work to sort of like get hits on YouTube or whatever. I mean, I understand like how someone might think that, and I'm not saying that I've been accused of that by any means, but what's been really, really cool is how many people are going out and buying this stuff and supporting the artists that I do share. You know, I think the assumption is like everybody knows Arthur Adams stuff, and I know a lot of people do, but I've sold a lot of books for people based on the YouTube channel, which is really, really cool. I mean, I was getting a couple of notes yesterday from people that were picking up stuff that I had shared. And that's really, really neat, and kind of the point of it. Like, this is just to have fun and hang out, chit-chat about art. And the comment section on these is real important. You know, please participate, because it really makes it cool. If you have suggestions of other things that you would want to look through, let me know. Because I have so much stuff that I've accumulated. Honestly, I kind of stopped buying stuff about 5 or 10 years ago. Maybe not 10 years ago, but say 8 years ago, because I had so much stuff. It was really kind of getting difficult to keep it all, you know, like house it. So I mean, I need to get rid of like half of my collection, and then just keep the really good stuff, and then kind of start building it back up, because I just have a bunch of kind of dead weight books that I'm not even into. Nothing like this, but I mean, you know, or comps that I would get at Wildstorm, you know, some of the DC stuff too, that I just, you know, they're just not characters that I follow. It's nothing about the quality of the work. There was a reason that I kept them in the first place, you know, is I wanted to get into them, but at a certain point, if you've had a book for 10 years and you've never looked at it, I think it's time to let it go. And these are great. I love that guy's face. Oh, whew, man. So good. So cool looking. Man. I wish Mignola would do his sketchbooks this size. He always does the 8.5. He does 8.5 by 5.5, so it's like a half size of this. Art does them basically like 8.5 by 11, and it's they're definitely funner to look through. I mean, Art definitely puts more detail than Mike, but yeah, I kind of wish Mike's were a little bigger. IDW, by the way, is putting out a black and white version of the Mike Mignola Bram Stoker's Dracula for people interested in it. So that might be something, if you're a fan of that book, or if you're a fan of Mignola, it might be worth checking out. I don't think it's like an artist edition. It could be, but They're definitely releasing some sort of a hardcover of that in black and white, which could be pretty cool. Man, these are great. Pencil drawings on these. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't think he always pencils this tight. He may, but you know, boy, you're really doubling your hours if you're drawing this tight and then going back in and inking it. It's a lot of work. Yeah, these are great. So, like, you can totally see like how J. Scott Campbell was influenced by this stuff. Not these exact pieces. Oh, this is from '95. But yeah, I mean, Jeff was a real big Art Adams fan, and rightfully so. It's a delicious brew that Art has concocted. Oh, these are so cool. The Universal Monsters. It's funny because like I always joke and kind of say that sometimes I pick these books for like selfish reasons of like what I want to look at, but probably wouldn't take the time to do it on my own. So I'm like, oh, all right, I want to see more Art Adams. Let's just do it as a super fun Sunday. But this is getting me fired up for Comic-Con too, because it's like I've got a mission now. My mission is to hit his table and grab some stuff. I want to get a big print of his. I don't know which one, but I might get one. I might get that Monkey Man Under the Water one if he has that this year. So I really like that print. I want it big though, not like 11 by 17. I want like, I'll see what big prints he has, and I might get one of those. I have to wait till I sell some stuff though. I'm going into this show with not a ton of pocket cash. That's really cool. So prolific. This is a really interesting character. This is like an original character that he draws. Oh, I don't know. This wasn't the same exact piece, but yeah, he's done a few spot illustrations of her in the front of the books or sometimes on the back covers for these sketchbooks. Like she appears. I don't know her name. This is cool too. Is this like the Groove too? Oh, that looks very like 70s. The monster thing. That's nice. The speed lines in the hair really like make a kind of nice effect together. This is really good too. Man. Oh. Really cool. Yeah, he's a busy bee, man. It's interesting because you would miss a lot of these pieces. Although I guess now with Instagram and stuff like that, I mean, you can kind of keep up on everything he's doing. But you know, in 2005, not everything that these artists would draw would really like be like on your radar. And so these sketchbooks were great because if it was a private commission or something, like it ultimately will end up in these, which is really nice because man, beautiful clouds. You know. It's a shame for him to put so much work into these pieces and then not see them. We're already at 18 minutes, right? So we'll finish this book and we'll go through one more. We'll do a nice long super fun Sunday. I'm going to pause this for 1 sec. At the end of the book, it's getting harder to turn the pages. This is really, really nice. Really nice. Man, God, that's so kick-ass. Dude, he is the man. Yes, indeed. That is really cool. This is nice, too. Classic Arthur Adams face. This is really nice, too. God, man. And you know these pieces look better in person. As great as they look in the sketchbook, oh, man. This is really cool too. Hello. Oh, he does a monocle. It was hard to tell through the phone, but he's funny. Who's that guy? Anyone know? Who's that character? He's crazy. I don't even know. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm clueless. I don't know. don't know who those characters are. So, like I said, the last couple of pages are like tricky to turn. Oh, nice. Look at that. God. Oh, wait. Hold on. There we go. My phone tried to rotate. Man, that is so kick-ass. The thing, man, he always looks so fun to draw. I've never drawn him, but I definitely want to. I just need a good reason. Man, that is awesome. Try to get this to autofocus a little better. And that is Killer 2. And again, all hand lettered. Guy's nutso. Oh my god, that's so awesome. He really is a treasure. I mean, he's... God, man. There's just nobody that does stuff like this. You know, like just the quantity and the quality and the variety and the subject matter. It's just, man, it's so awesome. Okay, I'm going to set the phone down and just let my arm... That character is from something. It's from like a movie or something, right? Like one of those kind of cheesy horror movies. All right, I'm going to pause this for a second, and then I'll come back and do the second book, but the phone gets heavy holding it for this long. So, okay, I'll be right back. Man, that's really nice. Okay, here we go. All right, and yet another Arthur Adams sampler. Again, beautiful, beautiful work. Every piece is a showstopper, basically. God, look at the clothing on that. That's so cool. Really, really nice texture on the fabric. Like you can kind of like in your mind really see what he's trying to show with that, which is a little different than other fabric you might see in costumes. It's that real kind of wrinkly, thin. I don't even know what it would be called, but man, those chains are great too. He is really inspiring. Oh, and here's that character. Man, those are great. Boy. Someday this stuff is going to be so collectible. I mean, it already is right now, but I mean, it's going to go to another level because in terms of comic art, the staying power that comic book art has, I mean, this stuff is at the top of the food chain. It sits right up there comfortably with really the best of the best. And yeah, he just owned it. It's so killer. So nice. Very inspiring. This is really cool. He's got nice shoes. Looks like he's gonna go boating. Like, oh man, wow. Anyone own any original Arthur Adams art that's watching this? I have a friend that buys quite a bit. He gets some of the commissions that Art's been doing over the last couple of years. They're beautiful, beautiful pieces. He's got a big budget though, but yeah, anyone else ever collect any of his work over the years? Like, I'd be curious, like, what you got. Man, that's really nice. Beautiful, beautiful piece. God, there's just like nothing this guy can't do. So this is from 2004. This sketchbook may be a year older than the one we just looked at. Art's been on fire for like 13 or 14 years in a row. Like he put on the gas right around this time, and he hasn't looked back. He had already done great work, but I mean, there was definitely like an actual noticeable increase in his passion focus and dedication to what he was working on around this time. It could have been even when he started these sketchbooks. I don't, but he had done some work for Wildstorm. The Tomorrow stories were getting really, really good, yeah, he just kind of like just kept getting better and better and better. And I mean, when you're really, really good, to have that noticeable of a growth curve is really special. It's you know. Just think about someone that you admire right now, like an artist that you think is doing great work, and then maybe they kind of put on the brakes a little bit, and they're still doing good work, but it's not like, it's not the best stuff that you've seen. I'm not saying that this was how it went for Arthur, but then all of a sudden that really, really good artist gets like way better. You know, I mean, it's a pretty incredible thing to go from 10 to 10.5 or 11, or you start knocking out, 13s on a scale from 1 to 10. He'd be a fascinating guy to interview. He's got an incredible amount of drive and focus. This is not art for the meek. You need, like, I call it art cardio, but yeah, I mean, your cardio for committing to pieces when you work in a style like this is extremely, extremely high. I mean, he's like an Olympic athlete of artists. And again, it's the quantity of work that he's done too. It's quality is obviously there, but I mean, he actually produces a lot for someone that works this detailed. That's really cool. The bottom. It's got a little bit of a Michael Golden feel, that kind of negative shine, the blacks and the white. That's really cool. I wonder how much of this art Arthur still has in his possession. It would be kind of interesting. I assume a lot of this stuff probably were commissions, but man, that would be hard to part with some of this stuff. It's so good. I don't know. I'm kind of like I like to keep my art personally. I don't mind selling stuff that I ink. There's some stuff that I've inked that I don't get rid of, but generally speaking, if I draw it, I generally kind of want to keep it. It's sort of weird, but I always think of the Frazetta thing too, where he he started making a demand to get his originals back, and Frank goes, "You want to get rich? You're getting rich. Keep your art." Because back then they wouldn't get their art back. Sometimes they didn't even want it back. It's so crazy. But yeah, Frank was one of the first artists to really make a point to get his paintings and pieces back. Although earlier in his career, he did do like Tarzan pieces and stuff like that actually weren't returned. There was one in particular that he always kind of wanted to get back, or wondered where it had gone. It's kind of a bluish pink one with, I think it's like a girl. There's like fire and maybe like someone like kind of holding her captive, and Tarzan's like leaping into the scene from like the trees. It's full color. It's an earlier painting, but yeah, like they kept it, and he was like saying, he's like, I would never ever have let them keep that painting. Further into his career. Luckily now, as artists, we get to keep our art. Oh, this is real early. Still nice though. Gumby. So this is from 1988. Yeah, so that's almost 40 years ago. Man, that's crazy. I have this comic. I have that Gumby too, actually. I would buy them from like long boxes of back issues, and I had a list thing that listed. You could look up an artist name. This is and see like, do they draw the cover or a pinup, or do they do the pencils, inks, or this is a weird piece. It's like it goes multiple directions. I don't get it. What in the world? That's really trippy. Why? I wonder why it was drawn like that. Oh, this is that holiday special. Yeah, that's really weird. Interesting layout. But yeah, so I would seek out anything from Arthur Adams and Mignola, and you know, find all these oddball like little pinups and stuff they had done in books that you kind of not really suspected. But the list made it much easier to track down that stuff. Jones and Bob. God, he just doesn't skimp on anything. Hey, want to do a Buffy cover? He's like, yeah, sure. Talk to you in a few weeks. Where some people would flip it in like 2 days, you know, like they'd get the assignment, they'd send in the layouts, and then, you know, pencil it in a day, ink it in a day. I remember this piece. Oh man, that's nice. Wow. Great tree. It's got a little bit of like an NC Wyeth feel. Really nice female figure, man. She's like, pumpkins are killer. Yeah, these books are so good. So how many of you have these sketchbooks? Like, have you been picking them up? There's a few on eBay right now. Some of the older ones are really expensive, but honestly, just hop in and get one. That would be my suggestion, is go to Art's site and see if he offers maybe like the most recent one, and grab one, you know, because you're not going to, I mean, there's not going to be one that's going to be bad, you know what I mean? Like you can't go wrong with it. What happened for me is I bought them like 5 or 6 years in a row, and I was like, I don't know, there was a few years that I went and did Comic-Con where I wouldn't even go around and shop, so I was so busy at my table, and it kind of threw me off my game in terms of like collecting stuff, because it's just, you know, I would run to like Adam Hughes' booth and grab like the Adam Hughes sketchbook and maybe like one other place, and then I would kind of be done for the show, and that would really be all the shopping that I would do. I started forcing myself to actually go out more, but you kind of feel like if you're not at your table, you're really not making, you know, it's really difficult for someone else to sell your stuff and do as well as you will when you're at the table. This is really cool. Johnny Future. That's nice. So this is going to be a good video. It'll be about 40 minutes long, all total. Character's crazy. What in the world? Hello? I'm Ganger Blue, or Cancer Blue? I don't even know. Cancer Blue? I don't know who the hell that is. Oh, look. Hey, he repurposed that. Hold on, you'll see in a sec. Oh, that's really cool. Man. Nice toes. He draws is real solid. I think this was in the other book. At least that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember this part. I'm humming Mudhoney. I watched the Mudhoney documentary on Amazon Prime. They were like one of the early grunge bands, but I've got some of their songs stuck in my head. So if you're going to Comic-Con, Artist Alley, table CC22. I'll be right next to Alex Sinclair, Scott Williams. I've been sitting next to David Mack the last couple years. He's sort of popped up in our row. A good friend of mine, Joel Gomez. It's a good row. Really, some really good stuff in our row. So it's definitely worth popping in and saying hi. Plus, you can meet Scott Williams and Alex Sinclair. These dudes are famous. Nice boots. That's really nice. Wow, that pose is crazy. She's on point. Literally. Man, those are great. Man, I would love to see his process. If he just sits and draws his stuff, or does he grab out like a Bernie Wrightson book or Kevin Nolan and kind of cross-reference things before he goes in? So there's such a variety to the work that he does, and even within his own style, there's little deviations that he does, that give nods to other artists that he's a fan of. It's real interesting, like the hybrid. Man, that's really kick-ass. He has such a great eye for value. Art could definitely paint. There's no doubt in my mind. He's got such a good eye for composition and value. Okay, we're getting to the end of this book. Ooh, very nice. Really nice FF piece. Man, this is solid. It's just solid drawing. God. Oh, nice. He's kind of got a little theme with some of the placement of his extracurricular pieces. It's pretty cool. That's really cool. All right, well, I hope that was fun. Please smash the like. And again, if you have any suggestions or any comments, leave them in the comment section below. All right? Check out my Patreon, Instagram, Facebook. I'll have links to all that stuff. And then also, if you haven't seen the first sketchbook video that I did of Arthur's, check it out. And I'll have a playlist to all the Open That books. All right? So the description box will be flush with cool stuff. All right, have a great day. I'll try to do a video tomorrow, and then I'll try to record as much as possible at Comic-Con to have a lot of fun stuff to bring back. And, yeah, all right, I'll see you all tomorrow. Oh, I might do a video today. Sorry, I forgot. I'm going to go through art today, and I was going to actually do a video of that because I actually have to pack, like, original art. Yeah, I'm actually going to record that later this afternoon. So stay tuned. Later today, there'll be more stuff. All right, bye.